All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like it is time once again for me. It's more time for me right now because this is the Paranormal Portal, and I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and this is our journey into the strange and unusual and unmapped worlds of the paranormal, supernatural, Fortean, and just bizarre. So hopefully I will do a good job guiding you through these crevices. Maybe not crevices is the best word, but through the realms of the strange and unusual, which may include crevices, but we're not getting into that on this show. So let's see, what am I trying to think of here? Oh, well, one thing I want to make sure to point out, just so you guys know, again, this is the last live show this week, the one and only live show this week, because I'm going to be going to Pocatello, Idaho tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And I'll be heading to, drum roll please. I don't really have a drum roll, but at any rate, I'm going to be heading here to the 2024 Bigfoot Rendezvous. You've got it, ladies and gentlemen. That's where I will be. I'm heading there to go hang out with the likes of Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Michael Freeman, Nico Spatafora, Mark Murcell, David Ellis, and Squatch America. And maybe some of you if you're there. So I'd love to see you guys there. Again, this is in Pocatello, Idaho, the 26th and 27th. The tickets are on sale. You can certainly find out more information by going to SasquatchPrints.com and finding more information for yourself. So I hope you guys, at least some of you, could come. That would be really cool. But it's going to be a 2-day event, and by God, I'm going to be there representing the portal as best as I know how, talking to people and maybe even doing some man-on-the-street interviews when I'm there. We'll see if people have stories they want to share and tell. I'm going to bring some things with me to try to record their stories for posterity's sake. And we'll see if it works. I don't know. I'm going to test it. Maybe it'll work. maybe it won't. But all we can do is try. So that's going to be going on this weekend. That's where I will be. And that's why I won't be doing live shows on Friday and Saturday. So again, the Bigfoot Rendezvous 2024 happening 26th and 27th in Pocatello, Idaho. As you can see on here, there's it's at 1800 Garrett Way, Pocatello, Idaho. So by God, I hope you can be there with me. That would be really cool. It would be very nice. Yeah, we could hang out and we could see each other and say hello. And if you're listening to the show, definitely come up and let me know. You'll be Miss Brent, like family going out of town. Aw, thank you, Gypsy. I appreciate that. That's very sweet. I wish you guys could all be there. I really do. I think that would be so cool. My objective for getting out and doing these events is to get to locations where all of you are eventually. That would be really cool if I could say hello to you guys. Ghost Radar isn't on. Thank you, Aussie. Way to catch that. What's the date today? I got to look it up here. It's the 24th. Of course it's the 24th. Let's turn this on so I can get this going. July 24, 2024. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. It's the 24th in 2024. I don't know if that means anything or not, but yeah, that would be a blast. Barbara, well, I've met you at a couple of conferences, and I'll see you in Vernal again, so that'll be cool. But yeah, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. Thank you, Gypsy, for posting that. She's over on Twitter, not Twitter, but Twitch. The other two. She's over on Twitch. Hello to Twitch. Anybody out there watching? Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out the shows. Hello to all of you on Rumble. Justin Gooderus over there. Barbara Mora is there. I'm there. Gypsy's there as well. And we'll see who else comes in over on Rumble. And to any of you that are watching and not talking over on Rumble, that's fine. You're welcome to do that as well. You don't have to chat to be a part of the family. Just make sure to subscribe or follow, however it works, whatever platform you're on. They have different names for it, so do that, and it would help support the show. And make sure to like it if you like the shows. And hello to all of you on the YouTubes. Good to see you guys. And I see there's Wizard Moon, Barbara Mora, Hardwick is here, Chucky Danger. Who else? Tommy Cooper's here. Mr. Tommy Cryptovania is here. Tommy's been pretty busy lately. They've been doing a film event over there. Those pictures look pretty good. I'm glad you're doing okay after the beating you took. So looking forward to seeing the final product there, sir. Let's see. Isaac's here. Good to see you, Isaac. And Rachel gets it right is here. Nate is here. Kitty Cattywhack is here. Annie Manul. How you doing, Annie? I'm just scrolling up and seeing the names as they pop up. I know my cousin Paul is out there listening in Tennessee. Hello to Tennessee. Are you hearing me? Good to have you listening, brother. Who else is here? I'm just scrolling up the list quick to see if I missed anybody. Flyer Tuck, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, it looks like I think I've said most of the names that have appeared in the chats. I don't think I've missed anybody. Nope. There's Deborah Neighbors. She's in here. Hi, Deb. Good to see you. Thank you so much. You know, you're the second Deborah that I've met that's spelled Debra. The other, of course, is our very own Deborah Varner, who's the Paranormal Portal psychic herself and doing much better. She's on the mend still, so God bless you, Deb. Hope things are going good. And I guess that is it. Yep, that's all the chat that I see, unless there's some new posts that I haven't seen yet. But at any rate, good to see you guys. Not Too Haunted just came in. Good to see you. Kat Doherty came in. Awesome. All right, well, I will try to do shout-outs later in the show. But again, this is the only live show this week, the only scheduled live show, I should say. I may do a live stream from the event as I'm there, and we'll kind of give you guys a walk around and show you what the hell's going on and what the action is. And, so if you're not already liking and subscribing and hitting the notification bell if you have that option, please do, because if I do impromptu live streams, you'll get notified, hopefully. So that's always an option. But good to see you, Chucky. All right, yeah, lots of us here. Hardwick, did I say hi to Hardwick? Haven't seen Nessie lately. Is she okay? Nessie's good. Nessie's fine. Yeah, she kind of stops in every once in a while. Oh yeah, no hat. I don't know. I just got my hair cut today, so I was like, I'm just gonna go sans the hat. The hat's out in the other room. I'm kind of packing for the journey tomorrow. So I've got things where I won't forget them because I'm notorious for going like 2 hours away and they're going, no. So I've got these piles of things that I'm collecting to make sure I don't forget things for when I get there. So yeah, no hat tonight. Just my beautiful brown locks, which are recently colored. So I found time in a bottle. You know, it's not so white anymore. Great Flower just popped in. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so we are going to be doing the news and see what the hell's going on in the news, and then we're going to get into a couple UFO articles that I pulled up. I love the shout-outs. Well, cool. I don't probably do that kind of stuff enough. It's not because, that I don't think it's important. It's just that I don't know. There's like a time anomaly that happens here in the portal. It's like you get digging into stories, and then the next thing you know, it's, oh God, we're out of time. So yeah, I'm sorry I don't do more of that, but I try to at least try to make, at least beginning of the show announcements. Hi Maggie, good to see ya. New Who's? What's New Who's? Oh, news. I was like, what's New Who's? Is that a new person in here? Yeah, that's how my head works. That's how it works. All right, so we're going to get to the news, then we're going to get to some UFO articles, and then we're going to get to some Cryptid Corner, and whatever the hell else we get it to. I mean, there's no set path that we have to take on any one episode. If we end up spiderwebbing off and talking about something completely different, like if you guys have questions and you put them in capitals and I see it, I'll be happy to answer questions as I go too. So I lost my phone, just been frantically looking for it. Well, it wasn't in your hand, was it? I do that sometimes. Like, where the hell's my phone? I'm carrying it. I'm like, where the hell's my phone? Yeah, I got to make a call. And then I'm like, oh, I knew I had it. Yeah, it's one of those really stupid things I do. But it might be a sign of genius, though. I'm not quite sure. At least that's the angle I'm going for. I need a drink because I'm getting dry. I hope you found it, Maggie. I hope this is a sign that you found it anyway. All right. let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen, and find out just what's going on in the news-verse. Maggie says, not this time. But tell me that hasn't happened to you. Come on. I've done that about 1,000,000 times. Be like, oh, where's my phone? Where's my phone? I got to make a call. And it's like, it's right in my hand. Brilliant. All right. So let's do the news and find out what's going on in the world around us, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is the Paranormal Portal news coming up. And it's sometimes paranormal, but it's always different, unusual, maybe sometimes informative. But hopefully you learn something throughout the course of it. So let's get to the news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk as we dive into the news here on the Paranormal Portal, and hopefully you find this interesting. Yeah, I do the same thing packing. Yeah, see, it's all this pre-planning and staging. That's so important, and it's because I got things all over the place. Like, I got to grab things out of the studio, like this signpost that I made for my display at the conference. So I've got stuff everywhere I'm trying to round up, and I know I'm going to forget things. It's inevitable, but I'm trying to remember at least the key things. So hopefully I do okay. But anyway, welcome to the news. We're going to go through some stories here and find out just what's going on in the world. And I can get rid of this because I don't need that open right now. And again, throughout the course of the show, we utilize many different sites, different pages, different authors and organizations, and I can only ask that you please support these sites. Please give them traffic. Please show up and check out articles on their sites, because there is so much on all of these sites that I use that I could never get to, but there's just a horde of incredible information on these things, and I'll pull little gems as I see them and talk to you guys about them, but we don't even scratch the surface on this stuff. So, Naysay. I thought you said Nessie. Okay. Naysay is fine. He's co-hosts with me every once in a while here on the show. I gotta probably get him on again sometime in the near future, but yeah, Naysay is wonderful. He's a good guy. He's always out there doing his thing. So yeah, but when he comes on, I hope you're here to enjoy it. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, please visit the sites we use, and hopefully you'll help them keep the lights on, because your traffic does equal revenue to help them pay the bills. So let's go to the first site, and this is an incredible site we utilize on pretty much all of these shows, because they do a hell of a job, and it's incredible information here. So this is a site called unexplained-mysteries.com. And the article has to do with the extraterrestrials in the world and out of our world. So let's get to this. And this is fingerprint analysis deepens mystery of Peru's mummified aliens. This is the ones that look like they're paper mache. I don't know. I just think I don't know. I have a tough time thinking this is an actual mummified alien. I don't know what mummified aliens look like. I'm not an expert by any measure, but I don't know what the hell this is. What's this? Is it? They don't have breasts. They have ridges. What the hell is that? Is that like a extra wide A cup cooking here? I mean, I don't mean to be inappropriate, but come on. I mean, look at that. That's like a jutting ridge of bone, like a breastplate. Like a sternum that's sideways, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this, but it doesn't look like what I would think an alien looks like. Now, I haven't seen them, so I can't be an objective judge here, but it almost looks square. It's very squared and geometric with some hip bones or some kind of hip ridges, a chest ridge. And then, I mean, it just doesn't seem symmetrical or even like you could balance this on two legs. I don't know how this works, but Again, if this is what they're talking about, if they got fingerprints on there, I don't know. I guess, could they be fake? Sure, maybe. I don't know. But let's check it out. The mystery of the alleged mummified aliens unearthed in Peru seems to have taken yet another unexpected turn. The plot thickens, folks. It thickens. Back in 2023, Jamie Maussan, a controversial figure even in the UFO community, presented what he claimed to be 2 alien bodies at a formal Congress hearing in Mexico City. Supposedly found buried between the Peruvian cities of Palpa and Nazca in 2017, the 2 bodies reportedly contained unknown DNA and were, as Maussan put it, not from this earth. Oof. Yeah, they don't look like they're from this earth. His claims went on to generate a great deal of controversy and debate, with experts slamming his discovery on the basis that the aliens were thought to be little more than human mummies. I don't even think that I would go there. That doesn't look human either, but it doesn't look like it was even biological. It looks like some kid's pinch pot in kindergarten. Anyway, let's continue. Despite this, however, the mystery surrounding Maussan's claims has never really gone away. Back in April, another alleged alien mummy was presented, and now, according to forensic analysis of the mummy's fingerprints, it seems that there might genuinely be something strange going on. The prints were examined by former Colorado prosecutor and current defense attorney Joshua McDowell, who maintains that they do not match any known human fingerprint pattern. We did not see any loops or whorls on the prints of the fingers or on the toes, he told Mail Online, with regard to analysis of a particular specimen known as Maria. I'm a former prosecutor, I'm a criminal defense attorney, and I've seen lots of fingerprints, and these were not classical fingerprints. Maria's fingerprints weren't consistent with human prints. Well, that said, this doesn't necessarily mean that the mummies are alien. It could have something to do with the way her skin was preserved, said McDowell. It's very odd. So I don't even know. Are they basically saying, yes, this is something biologic? Is that where the argument is going? Like, yes, this is biological. I don't know. I've not even heard that summation of analysis on these things. So I don't know. It would be nice if they would provide pictures so you could see exactly what it is that is unusual about them. But so it doesn't have whorls or whatever, but what does it have? It doesn't really just explain what it has. And yeah, I mean, we all know what fingerprints look like. We have them. So we can just look at your hand and go, yeah, that's a fingerprint. But if it's something that's not human, well, then what is it? What does it look like? But we don't know. So there's nothing to go on other than the fact that it's not human. Okay. Well, I don't know how paper mache dries, but maybe it looks like fingerprints when it's dried without whorls too. I don't know. I'm just saying. All right. Well, that's the article. I'm not saying it couldn't be legitimate. I'm just saying Jaime, which is how you actually say it. I always say Jamie, but Jaime Maussan is the guy's name. And he's been at the center of a lot of controversies throughout the years. And so whenever his name pops up, it's like, oh, this guy again. You know, it's kind of like, who's a good example? Maybe a Rick Dyer of the Bigfoot world. You know, it's like one of those things when Rick Dyer pops up, it's like, oh, you know, not, again, I don't have anything against Rick Dyer personally, but I'm just saying he's been at the center of a lot of controversy. And so whenever the names pop up, you're like, oh no. Oh, so whatever the case, you be the judge. It's not my scope to make you believe or disbelieve anything, but question everything, folks. Question everything. All right, let's get back to the next article because there's always more here on the portal. And the next one up is also coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. How's the stream looking for you guys? Is it smooth? Is it smooth? Because YouTube's giving me a warning here, so I want to make sure it's working good. If it's not working, let me know. What? Oh, hey, Wes. Or the Confessor Soap in your podcast feed. That's funny. Good to see you, Wes. Thanks for coming in, brother. Wes, since you're here, I just want you to know that I'm going to be repping the Sasquatch Chronicles at this event. I got my Sasquatch Chronicles T-shirt packed, and I'll be sporting that on one of the days. And I put a Sasquatch Chronicles bumper sticker on my car today. So, just saying, I'm taking you with me whether you want to go or not. All right, next up, we are going to go to the next article, which is, I don't know about this one. This one's weird. Now, everybody's heard the stories of like time travelers. It's been, ever since the internet's been a thing, there's been somebody claiming to be from a different time. I came back from the year blah, blah, blah. I forget, John T. Tour, I guess, is the big name that popped up and was around for a long time and kind of a big question mark. I don't know, but apparently some people might be taking this a little more seriously. Because according to Unexplained Mysteries and explained-mysteries.com, scientists have scoured the internet for evidence of time travel. Well, that's interesting. I don't know which scientist this is, but let's find out. Could a potential time traveler have inadvertently posted information about future events online? The question of whether or not time travel has or ever will be possible has long remained a topic of heated debate, with some arguing that if it is possible to travel through time, we would have already seen some kind of evidence that time travelers from the future had been here. But what if we're simply not looking in the right places? Like, yeah, they got to be on 4chan, right? That's where they go. I think that's where all the time travelers go, is 4chan or wherever. All right. Recently, a team of physicists conducted an extensive search of the internet for evidence that someone from the future might have returned to the past and dropped hints about it online. In particular, they decided to search for specific, easily identifiable keywords concerning something that nobody before a certain date could have possibly referenced or known about. After much deliberation, they settled on Comet Ison, ISON, which was discovered in 2012, and Pope Francis, the name chosen by Jorge Mario Bergoglio. I don't know, I'm brutalizing that name, I'm sure. But I don't speak I don't speak that accent. When he became the head of the Catholic Church. History of bright comets like Comet Ison are generally well kept by societies and journals around the world, indicating that the comet Ison might remain memorable well into the future, the team wrote. Conversely, there is little reason for anyone without prescient information to be referring to something as Comet Ison before 2012 September. Therefore, discussions or even mentions of Comet Ison before 2012 September were searched for as potential prescient evidence of time travelers from the future. Sadly, despite their best efforts, the researchers were ultimately unable to find any references to either Comet Ison or Pope Francis before the relevant dates. Of course, this doesn't necessarily mean that time travel is impossible. Time travelers from the future may simply be very careful about making such blunders. There could be other reasons why looking for such evidence online is a waste of time. It may be physically impossible for us to find information, as that would violate some yet unknown law of physics, the scientists concluded. I don't know who these scientists are. Where does it say they are? Did you guys catch anything that I read? I don't remember reading where these scientists are. Where are they doing this research? Who is funding this? Who is funding this? This is probably not the best spent money. Not that it wouldn't be, interesting if they did find something, but I mean, my God, it's like, funding studies of the mating habits of jellyfish or something like that. It's like, okay, really? Do we need to know that? Is that going to help? Is that going to help anything? How about we look a little more into cancer and things like that, like things that'll probably, change the course of our human experience. And if there is a time traveler, what are they going to go? You got me. God, I thought I was being careful. You got me. No, hell no. They're not going to. Even if they did find something that was anomalous, it's like, okay, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. It's interesting all the same. But there you have it. Maybe you didn't know that before today. I sure as hell didn't. I was today old when I learned it. So there you go. Interesting enough. But that's the next article. I think I have one more. I do have one more. One more to go, ladies and gentlemen, on the Paranormal Portal News tonight. And this one is also from unexplained-mysteries.com. I think I'm going to go over to SasquatchChronicles.com for an article there because I saw it earlier, but I saw Wes posted about it too. So we're going to check that out in just a second as an extended news article because, oh my God, it's like, what a day. All right, here we go. This one is from the world of the bizarre, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's seen those power eaters, those people that'll just put away a bucket of wieners and, well, that doesn't sound right at all. Let's rephrase that. A big tray of food. Sorry, don't want to say a bucket of wieners. Jesus, what's wrong with me? All right, they're power eaters. They eat stuff really fast and ungodly amounts. And oddly enough, some of the power eaters are these really skinny people. Like they are not these enormously obese people that look like they inhale the air around them. They literally are these wire thin in some cases, but they can eat an incredible amount of food. And it's like, where the hell is that going? So, I mean, it is interesting that people can do it, first of all. Is it a life skill? Probably not. Is it worthy of recognition and notoriety? Probably not, but it's interesting. Everybody likes something bizarre, and I guess power eaters are one of those. But sometimes it goes south, ladies and gentlemen. And this is this story from the world of the bizarre of unexplained-mysteries.com. Extreme eater dies during live stream while eating 10 kilograms of food. What in the hell? Whew. 10 kilograms. That's like 20 some pounds of food. Oh, Jesus. All right, the act of eating outrageously enormous portions of food has become strangely popular online in recent years. The phenomenon, which originated in South Korea, is known as mukbang. Typically involves an individual eating a large amount of food while live streaming the whole thing to their fans over the internet. While it started out as a niche interest, over the years it has become increasingly popular and has spread all across the world, with some countries even moving to block or ban the practice. The biggest issue with it is when someone takes extreme eating way too far with fatal results. Most recently, 24-year-old Pan Zhaoting from China literally died during a live stream in which she had attempted to consume over 10 kilograms of food, including cake, chicken, and seafood. Oh, geez. I mean, what a way to go. I mean, that's what she's remembered for. That's it. Yeah, she tried to eat 10 kilograms of food. It's like, I'm sure there's a lot of people in China that would have appreciated maybe a kilogram of that, and she could have spread that around a little bit. According to reports, she had actually ended up in hospital the day before due to gastrointestinal bleeding caused by overeating, but incredibly, this hadn't stopped her from continuing to binge the following day. Oh, that's Darwin Award right there, right? When she collapsed on stream, viewers attempted to send help, but it was too late. She died after her stomach literally tore open due to the extreme amount of food she had eaten. The mukbang phenomena continues to prove divisive and is in fact outlawed in her native China. Oh, so not only is she remembered for like eating too much food and her stomach exploded, but she's a criminal. Oh, no. Even so, many people continue to do it, attracting large audiences on social media. Suffice to say, this is one online trend that you definitely don't want to try at home. Well, yeah, obviously. All right, well, there you go. I don't know who this person was, and it's sad. It's truly sad that that's what ended up killing her, I guess. But you know what they say: if you go out doing what you love, I guess that's the way to ride it out. I don't know. I mean, what do you do with a story like that, right? But I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the unexplained-mysteries segment of our news. But I'm going to pull up this other article and let you guys see this, because I think many of you have probably already seen it, but we're going to look at it anyway. Nope, that's not the right window. Let me get the right window open here. All right, let me get this. All right, I got to see where it is here. I just saw it. I was going through it and I was like, oh, we should talk about that on the news. So here we go. Oh, here it is. It's actually, there it is. I saw this video and I was like, oh my God. Well, here you go, folks, from the SasquatchChronicles.com, the blog. This is it. Oh my God. So you're out in your boat and you're just checking out some whales. You're whale watching or whatever. And you're trying to get the good pictures and stuff. And then suddenly an opportunity comes for an extreme close-up. Money shot, right? Not so much. Not so much. Hope you got insurance. Because sometimes it goes south. Like in this Sasquatch Chronicles blog, July 24th, whale landing on boat off New Hampshire coast. WCVP Channel 5 Boston reports 2 people were thrown into the ocean after a whale landed on their fishing boat off the New Hampshire coast on Tuesday morning, and the entire incident was caught on video. Well, it's a money shot for them, not for the people on the boat, though. Here you go. Let's check this out. This is WCVB Channel 5 Boston reporting. Let's check it out. Oof. What a day, what a deal.
The wild scenes off the coast of New Hampshire as a whale breaches, and you can see it capsize that boat. Thanks for joining us. I'm Erica Taranto.
And I'm Ben Simino. It is incredible. As the whale came down on the boat, both people on board were sent into the water. Thankfully.
Holy Christ, that guy is loud. He's not a quiet talker, that's for sure.
Everybody's okay tonight. Jessica Brown in the newsroom with what we've learned about this one. Jessica.
Really is wild video. We are now for the first time hearing from the teenage boys who saw the whole thing happen. Take a look again at the incredible moment caught on video.
Let's take a look at that. Boom.
Yeah, he's like, time to go.
Boom.
This was off Rye Beach, New Hampshire this morning. So those two are brothers, Colin and Wyatt. They're from Elliott, Maine. They were in the area to fish. Well, Colin was recording the video as the whale jumped up and onto that boat over there. Wyatt could not believe his eyes either.
Wow. That's...
I saw it come up and I was just like, oh, it's gonna hit the boat. And then it kind of, it started to flip.
I had my fishing rod right here and phone in my hand. And I saw it go up. So I was like, just lucky enough to be facing the right direction.
Just get that guy out hunting for
one
Bigfoot.
of the men
Jesus.
on that boat jumped
He was
off.
quick.
You see him there. The other didn't have time. He got shoved into the water and under the boat.
Boom.
They say he did make it out pretty quickly. Colin and Wyatt went over to help them get out of the water. We're going to hear more from them tonight at 6, Ben.
There you go, folks. Takes whale watching to a whole new level. How's that for I don't know, an insurance claim, I guess. I guess I got 2 and then 3. I think there's one outside the window and 2 were in here. Well, there you go. All right. Well, welcome, other unseen guests. So had you seen that before? Had you seen the whale fall on a boat? I mean, it just kind of slingshotted that one guy out. It's like, catch this, MF. Sorry, that was a little crass and crude, but, yeah, I guess it just landed right on the boat. And, the thing is that boats are actually incredibly heavy. They're made of fiberglass, and, they're made to be right side up. They're not made to flip over on their side easily, but I guess you got several tons of whale coming down, and it changes the whole dynamic of buoyancy in a hurry. So there you go. You might not have seen that before today, but now you've seen it, and this has been a presentation of the Paranormal Portal News. Let's get back to the rest of the show. Ducky, you're brutal. Moby Duck. Indeed. Well, there we go. There it is, folks. That was the news. Hopefully you learned something good and you feel like a more well-rounded, more informed person now. And if so, you're welcome. All right. That's great. Thanks, Wes, for posting that. So I saw it like a day ago, and I was like, oh, I should put that on the news. And then I forgot until I saw it on Wes. And I'm like, oh, cool. You're on the ball, Mr. Gerber. You're on the ball. All right. We're going to get to an article here. We're going to go to howsandwhys.com. Again, this is a site that's pretty much, as far as I can tell, championed by one incredible coverage. At least the UFO UAP stuff is always articles by a gentleman named Vicky Verma. And this guy is just prolifically busy. He's got hundreds, if not thousands of articles over here. I don't know. I've not gone through the whole archives to see how far back his work goes, but he is just a prolific poster on howsandwhys.com. And these articles are really well done. We've covered several of them through the history of the show. And this one's one that I can't say that I'm familiar with, but it has to do with an event with aliens in the 1950s. And I don't know. And this will be brand new to me as well as all of you, I suppose. So please hit like and subscribe. God bless you, Aussie. Thank you for that. I'm even more afraid of the ocean. Yeah, I mean, what are the odds, though? It's not like that stuff happens a lot, thank God. I don't know. You got to wonder, did that whale just decide it's time to take out those bastards or what? Was it an accident? Just like, oh, I feel like, jumping up and breaching right here next to their boat. It almost did. I mean, are they that out of control, or do you think maybe it's intentional? Like, I don't like boats. I'm going to smash this one. I don't know. Could be. I know that there's an epidemic right now of I don't know if it's just one pot of killer whales or not, but it seems to be spreading where they're actually attacking boats. And I think this is over in the Mediterranean, but I could be wrong. Somewhere anyway where they're attacking boats and trying to sink them. These are killer whales. So I don't know what happened that pissed them off about boats. I mean, I imagine, killer whales sometimes get struck by propellers and it pisses them off. So maybe it's a get back, I don't know. But is this the whales joining the fray and deciding, yeah, screw boats? I don't know. But at any rate, we are completely at the mercy of the elements when we're on the waters, except in our little boats. Something goes wrong with our boats, we're in a bad place. So good thing those guys were there and we're able to pull those guys out of the water, though, at any rate. But it's got to be terrifying. Jesus, that's a lot of animal coming down on you. Okay, so this is an article again from howsandwhys.com, and it again has to do with the UFOs, some alien experience from the 1950s. So let's dive into this and see just what the hell's going on. Its mouth was open, so it's probably feeding. Good point, RJ. Yeah, it's probably eating a whole mouthful of krill, and the boat just happened to be in the path of the krill. I don't know. Maybe they're not very aware, or maybe they just can't see that well when they're going after that stuff. Who knows? They kind of got eyes on the sides of their head, so if they're going towards krill, there's not a lot of forward, binocular vision going on there. So anyway, let's get to this article. 3 aliens almost killed ex-U.S. soldier and ufologist in the 1950s, threatened him to stop his research. Now, oftentimes we wonder why haven't they revealed themselves? And, anybody's guess. Some people have suggested there's an agreement, a secret agreement going on between governments of the world and these extraterrestrials, or I don't know if they're necessarily extraterrestrials, but whatever they are, that they're kind of working in a cooperation or a pact. And maybe one of the parts of their pact is they have to remain hidden, like they can't just broadcast their presence, which obviously it doesn't seem like they care that much because their stuff is flying all over the skies and people are seeing it and reporting it. So, but at any rate, this is back in the 50s, so maybe it was more of a serious deal back then. I don't know. It's just a theory, but it is kind of surprising to hear that maybe they don't want us to know what they're doing. You know, like in which case it's kind of sounds diabolical, doesn't it? I mean, like, why wouldn't you want us to know? What are you doing that we shouldn't know about? And what's going on? So it raises a million questions, but let's read the article, see what this story is, because again, this is new to me. I don't know what the hell this is about. One of the first and most well-known incidents about Men in Black happened in busy Bridgeport. According to UFO researchers, Men in Black, or MIBs, are super secret agents who work for the FBI, CIA, or some other government group, and they try to stop people who are trying to find out the truth about UFOs. Some people who study UFOs even suggest that the Men in Black might not be from Earth. The fall of 1952, ufologist Albert K. Bender announced the creation of a new research organization, the International Flying Saucer Bureau, or IFSB. He was the author of the UFO journal Space Review, which was released in 1953. West Virginia resident Gray Barker soon offered his assistance to Bender and spoke of the Flatwood Monsters case, which he was investigating with Ivan Sanderson. Just heard tapping like that. I don't know what that is. All right. So he was investigating with Ivan Sanderson. Albert K. Bender was born in Duria, Pennsylvania. I hope I pronounced that right. On June 16th, 1921, during World War II. From June 8th, 1942 to October 7th, 1943, he worked as a dental technician in the U.S. Army, Air Force, but he didn't go overseas. He stayed in the U.S. After leaving the Army, he moved to Bridgeport with his mom, Ellen, and stepfather, Michael Ardolino, and they lived at 784 Broad Street. In January 1953, Bender asked Barker to head the research department of the IFSB. In September, however, Bender announced that he was forced to cease his activities. On March 5th, 1953, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Albert Bender lay down on the bed in his attic apartment in Bridgeport, Connecticut. He cleared his mind as best he could and recited the appeal he had written for himself and his fellow members of the International Flying Saucer Bureau, hoping his friends were doing the same. Bender recited his mantra 3 times. Calling occupants of interplanetary craft that have been observing our planet Earth. We of IFSB wish to make contact with you. We are your friends and would like you to make an appearance here on Earth. Your presence before us will be welcomed with the utmost friendship. We will do all in our power to promote mutual understanding between your people and the people of Earth. Please come in peace and help us in our earthly problems. Give us some sign that you have received our message. Be responsible for creating a miracle here on our planet to wake up the ignorant ones to reality. Let us hear from you. We are your friends. That's interesting that they were doing some kind of meditative or almost a prayer, I guess, in a sense. That's interesting. So I didn't know that was going on back then. Soon Bender had his answer, and it was not one he really wanted to hear. But before we tell you about it, let's back up and take a look at the whole alien contact situation. In using telepathy to talk to aliens, Bender was following a much older tradition than he imagined. In 1953, Bender had 3 visitors at his house. He described them as wearing black clothes and hats like clergymen. They were the Men in Black, known for appearing in groups of 3. And they told Bender to stop his work on UFOs. They didn't speak aloud, but communicated using their minds, saying, "Stop publishing." They took copies of Space Review with them when they left, and after they left, a strange yellow fog appeared in the upstairs rooms of 784 Broad Street, and the attic smelled strongly of sulfur. Well, that's not a bad sign. Jeez. Which made Bender feel very scared. He couldn't eat for days because he was so frightened. These visits from Men in Black happened to Bender several times. Obviously, he didn't take a hint real well. Barger was extremely surprised, and in early October, he came to Bender with several other IFSB members to try to sort out the situation. Bender knew what flying saucers really were, but remained silent. Some UFO researchers concluded that Bender was indeed under the pressure from government agents, while others doubted it. Coral Lorenzen, a founder of UFO Research APRO, wrote in a bulletin that most likely the IFSB was funded by Palmer's magazine and used to write science fiction stories. Bender talked about Men in Black in old newspapers from the Bridgeport Sunday Herald. The Herald wrote about them in an article titled Mystery Visitors Halt Research. On November 29, 1953, Bender said 3 men in dark suits showed him credentials, claiming that they were from a, quote, higher authority, unquote. And they asked many questions about the IFSB. The Herald's reporter, Lem W. Collum, or Lem M. Collum, thought these visitors were government officials, and Bender later said that the Men in Black were not from Earth. But it took him some time to feel less worried about it. One way or the other, the name of Albert Bender disappeared from the pages of ufological publications, but not forever. 10 years later, he published a book entitled Flying Saucers and the Three Men, in which the whole story was presented from a completely different perspective. Indeed, Bender wrote that in 1953. 3 men in black visited him, and they were not government agents, but aliens. Now that's interesting because there are various descriptions of the Men in Black. Some people have cited them as robotic, looking like androids. Some not blinking, unblinking, just completely staring, just an emotionless stare, looking like an automaton. There was one encounter where it seemed to run out of juice as it was talking to him, like it got very slow and then stopped. And that was like the whole encounter. And I think the guy just left, or maybe maybe it wound down and then left slowly. I don't remember how that went exactly. But there's others that report that they seem like G-men, like government agents from back in the day. They're, the trademark suits and hats, driving a nondescript black vehicle. And it makes you wonder, because stories of the Men in Black seemed pretty prolific for quite a while. Like, it seemed wherever there was a UFO sighting, it was followed up by visitations from these strange Men in Black, whoever they are. And it's a strange phenomena. But then it just kind of stopped. And I was wondered, why did it stop? If it was a genuine phenomena, if it was genuinely perhaps government agents, if it was genuinely perhaps extraterrestrial in nature, whatever it was, why did it stop? We don't hear Men in Black encounters much anymore. Sometimes a odd story here and there will creep out, but what happened? It was almost like every encounter with a UFO would be followed up by a visit from Men in Black. And the X-Files did a show kind of like that, and actually Jesse Ventura played the Men in Black, and it was really bizarre. There seems to be like time anomalies involved with the Men in Black encounters. There's lots of oddities. Even Dan Aykroyd has seen Men in Black. Dan Aykroyd, the actor, he has had a few different encounters, and I think a couple with Men in Black specifically. So pretty interesting. But then they just kind of stopped. Why? And it occurred to me, maybe they stopped because they don't do it the same way anymore. Maybe there's still those same intelligences wherever they're from, whatever their source, but they don't do it, direct intimidation. Now maybe they work through the internet, just flaming people that make claims. Maybe that's like the current day Men in Black is the people that are like, oh, there's a bunch of crap. You need your meds. And some of the people out there that are just talking smack, that maybe some of that is Men in Black. Who knows? And I realize that sounds absolutely bizarre and stupid, but what if? Maybe it's all surveillance cameras. They don't want to be recorded. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Oh, it was this guy Brent was talking about. That's weird. I was reading about it on Tuesday. Oh, okay. Shadowy figures and hats. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Whatever the Men in Black are, and I don't pretend to know. I mean, well, I don't really have ideas, to be honest with you, because there's such variations of what they are and what people experienced. And it seems almost very unique to the person that experiences it. So it doesn't sound like your traditional, government agents showing up saying, knock it off. It sounds like something else or some other intelligence working at it. The whole sulfuric yellow cloud, though, that's creepy, because I was just talking with author Ron Felber on the podcast, and there does seem to be a lot of distinct correlations between demonic events, including possession, and abductions. So, I'd often hear people saying, no, aliens are demons. Well, I don't think they all are. But what if some of them are? What if some of them are like demonic or demonically controlled or whatever? And I suppose that's possible. I mean, hell, what do I know? But interesting stuff all the same. There you have it. That's the article. I think it's interesting. I don't think we're ever going to crack down to real answers here, but it's interesting. Maybe that's who visited me when the ghost radar went off. Maybe it was some multi-dimensional Men in Black popping in going, what's he talking about? What is this? Oh, that story? Yeah, we already know about that one. Then they left. They've never popped up when I've told my experience, though. When I told my experience of... I should do the bottle. Should we do the bottle? When I told my experience of seeing a UFO, I've never been visited by Men in Black. So maybe they don't believe me. Maybe the Men in Black don't believe me. All right, we're going to pop a bottle, ladies and gentlemen. This is, again, water bottle. Twist it. And twist it. And twist it. And twist it until it's just like this. It's like a small waisted bottle. It's just twisted. And you get it really tight until this thing just, you'll notice the cap seems to be bulging. Okay, and then you go like this. Huh? That one wasn't too loud, but that's what it looks like afterwards. You're welcome. A little science here on the portal. Atomize some water quick. Indoor fireworks, if you will. So, never gets old. I think I'm just easily amused. I don't know. That'll scare away demons. Yeah, if they say if clapping makes the ghosts go away, then, God, that must work some serious magic, right? The crunching plastic bottles sound while wearing earphones. Yeah, sorry about that, Grandizer. You can send your bill to someone else. Anyway, there you go. I thought that was interesting. I like the Men in Black stories. I think they're fascinating. But again, there's a lot of different explanations for what people experience in their Men in Black encounters. Are they all the same thing? I don't know. Not really sure. But maybe there's a lot of agendas and they're just represented by different things. It's the new hairdo. What? Is that as if that isn't obvious? Me too, Brent. Oh, yeah. It's the new hairdo. The new hairdo made Brent do it. Now, I did it when I had the old hairdo, too. That was not new. Shadow Man is going to sneak into the shower with Brent and start scrubbing his back if you don't like the show. Well, hell, I'd appreciate the help, actually. It's tough to get back there and get all those areas, Got a lot of real estate. Less now than I used to have, but still, requires some work. Fun times. Thank you. All right, what's going on in the Rumble? Old version of Bex. Yeah, there's old versions of Bex. Dan Aykroyd's encounter was crazy weird. Yeah, it was, Barbara. You're right. I couldn't twist it. Yeah, it's hard to twist the bottle, honestly. I've got pretty strong hands, though. I mean, they're getting less strong as I get older, as I've damaged them from grabbing bottles and twisting them, probably. I've probably torn some tendons doing that, but it's fun. The Minion and I have a blast doing it, launching caps across the living room. But anyway. All right, let me check the time here and see what we're doing. Yes, we're right on time to dive into the other side of the show. because we've covered the news, we covered some UFO stuff. I got to find some more ghost stuff to cover. Thank you, Rachel, for that link. You brought that back to my memory. I'll have to start combing through those and finding some good ghost stories to put on the show, too. Your hair looks red on my TV. Really? Might be my scalp after after the irritation of coloring it. I don't know. Brent's hair does look red. I usually watch the whole screen. I can't look away from his hair tonight. Well, thank you. I don't know. It's just supposed to be medium brown. It looks medium brown to me. I don't know. Maybe it's the interwebs. The interwebs are screwing up my hair tones, but I don't think they're red. Now you're making me want to have my hat. I wasn't trying to go for ginger here. Not that there's anything wrong with ginger, but it's just wasn't what I was going for personally. I was going for medium brown. So, all right. It's nice red looking. Oh, that's good. Okay, well, good. That shouldn't look red at all, but maybe it's just literally like my skin is sensitive. So maybe when I color it, it kind of burns my scalp. I don't know. I'm a sensitive guy. What can I say? All right, so let's get to the next part of the show. Oh, I don't need this open for that. I need the other window. Got to pull up the other window here, and then we'll get to the next part of the show. Because we're diving into some phantoms and monsters here tonight. I'm going to start with the story that we were going to read last time, but we just ran out of time. And I'm excited to read it because I don't know, the actual... the headline of it that Lon used is very exciting. It's like, ooh, well, that sounds really cool. But I've not read it, so we'll find out together. But we're going to go to Phantoms and Monsters because, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for... The Crypted Corner, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Paranormal Portal. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. All right, here we go. It's time for the Crypted Corner, ladies and gentlemen. Diving into all things creatures and cryptids here on the Paranormal Portal. And I've got a few, there's a few stories I've got pulled up. So not all of them are always cryptid, but they're definitely strange and unusual. So it's kind of like the news. It's not all paranormal news, but... it's interesting. So my hair makes a perfect tinsel for Christmas tree. I get that when I sneeze. Sorry. That was gross. That's an old Rodney Dangerfield joke, actually. Oh, when I was young, we were so poor, we couldn't afford tinsel for the tree, so we just wait for Grandpa to sneeze. Rodney Dangerfield was hilarious. He was a hilarious guy. I don't even think he was underrated. I think he was pretty widely appreciated for his self-degrading humor. The guy was just brilliant. No respect. I can't do a Rodney, but I always loved that guy. Especially, Caddyshack. Come on. That's a classic. So anyway, let's get on to the next part, the Cryptids Corner. That's in a Kevin Bloody Wilson song too. What's a Kevin Bloody Wilson? I'm not sure what that is. That song is NSFW. Okay, well, I guess we shouldn't visit it here then. This is a family-friendly show, so. All right, let's get to this article, and this is from Phantoms and Monsters. Again, ladies and gentlemen, check out Phantoms and Monsters. This is Lon Strickler's site. Home of Phantoms and Monsters Radio, which is Lon's podcast, and you can find that on YouTube. So check it out, but check out the actual .com because he's got thousands of amazing stories on this site, and very referenceable. You can look up Dogman stories. You can look up Bigfoot. You can look up Mothman. Yeah, get no respect. You got it, Justin. So hopefully you guys like this one. But I saw this headline. It's like, oh, that sounds cool. So this is from Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. It was the most incredible thing I've ever witnessed. Ooh, sounds good. Whatever it is, I guess we'll find out. A couple were at home relaxing when they observed a beach ball-sized glowing orb suspended in front of the patio door. Well, it eventually stretches into a tube-like object. And I received the following account. Love the site. Please feel free to publish this, Lon. True story. I witnessed an event in my home that to this day I simply have no plausible explanation for. I've always wanted to write you and tell you this story to find out if others may have seen what I've witnessed. And it's something that is never far from my mind and has left me with no plausible explanation or answer, other than my personal belief that there are, in fact, things in this world that cannot be understood or explained. I believe I witnessed something that few people have or ever will see or encounter in this world, or possibly even the next. A few years ago now, my wife and I and our family cat were all sitting together relaxing in our living room watching the television. Well, the cat was directly in front of me, sitting on our coffee table, and my wife was to my right side in our living room chair. And it was a quiet and uneventful evening. Our patio door was open, and there was no breeze that I could feel coming in through the open door. I then noticed our cat turn her head, look in the direction of the patio door, and stare at something. Well, I glanced over at my wife and noticed that she too had noticed the cat was looking at something. And she had also turned her head in the direction the cat was looking. And in turn, I also turned my head to see what was going that had caught their attention. And that's when I saw it. We all saw it. And we stared, just looking at this thing. There in the living room, about a foot in front of the open patio door, was this ball or circular mass about the size of a beach ball. And it was made up of what appeared to be literally thousands upon thousands of interwoven pieces of what looked like smoke that resembled string. Each piece of this smoke or string was turning and twisting and undulating in every possible direction, all within this ball, weaving intricately in and out of itself and in some type of what looked like an organized pattern. There were colors of gray, white, and black, all moving at the same time and all in different circular directions, almost like a giant ball of string. But each piece moved at the same speed and together, almost like a machine. It was like something out of science fiction movie right here in our living room. But it was far more complex and intricate than any special effects I have ever seen. It was mesmerizing and hypnotizing. I found myself drawn to it, staring and just trying to wrap my mind around exactly what it was that I was seeing. At the same time, attempting to rationalize it and place it into some understandable category. We sat there staring speechless, as it continued to float, weaving and turning. And it gave me the feeling that the object was somehow alive and very intelligent, possibly even self-aware. It just sat there, 4 feet or so off the floor, undulating, twisting and turning, weaving in and out and around itself, just hovering there like it knew we saw it, but it just didn't seem to care. It did this for over 40 seconds or more. And then, almost as if it was pleased that we had now seen it, it stretched itself out into a long, approximately 8-foot cylindrical gray tube, and then left the room at an extremely high rate of speed. And then it was gone. It had been watching us, and it had been aware of us. I asked my wife, did you just see that? And she said, yes. What was that? I asked her to describe what she had seen so I could be sure that we had seen the same thing and that her account was exactly the same as mine. We, including the cat, had all seen this thing. I have searched the internet looking for pictures that may describe what we have seen, but have never been able to find anything like it. Was it a spirit? Was it a drone of some kind, or an entity from another dimension? I don't believe we'll ever know, but it makes you think what things may be possibly existing in this world that we've never been taught about. And it makes me wonder where they come from and why they may be here. It was the most incredible thing I have ever witnessed. Wow. Yeah, that's a strange one, because could it be extraterrestrial? Sure. Could it be spiritual? Sure. Could it be extra dimensional? Sure. Could it be some other form of life that maybe is outside of all of those? Sure. I mean, who knows what it is? The interesting thing is that they don't seem to have like any kind of emotional reaction. So I guess it was just a curiosity for them, and for this object, they were the curiosity. It doesn't seem to have acted maliciously. It doesn't seem to have done anything other than going, what are you guys exactly? So I don't know. Maybe it just got here from somewhere. He's new in town. Hubby's trying to sleep and just asked me for an energy drink. I just broke out laughing, face purple, crying. Just the thing to help you sleep, honey. Yeah, that's not the right. Tell Neil that he should maybe try some more milk. That might be a better beverage before bed. 8-foot cylindrical tube. Is this the biologics of a UFO? Weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. So, of course, you think of things like, what would a quantum machine look like if it was manifested in front of you? And maybe this is it. So it could be some form of UFO drone, because we can't understand what they are. But people have seen them change shape and split apart into pieces and re-merge together. And so, I mean, again, we're talking about, if it is extraterrestrial, we're talking about sciences that may be thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years or more advanced to what we can comprehend. I mean, we just don't have that kind of technical understanding. So what does that technology look like? Well, it looks like magic, I guess. Really. It said it seemed pleased they had seen it. That's so strange. Yeah. It is kind of surprising. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they seem to have the idea that it was at least sentient, but not malicious. They didn't have that, oh crap moment or anything like that. So whatever it was just observing them, and they were observing it. It was like this mutual moment of understanding, or at least an introduction. I don't know. And you got to wonder, what does a one-off event like that mean? Is there possibly more to the story, that maybe this couple or these people have had other experiences that led up to this, and this is a culmination of events? And we don't know, because there's just no information to go on for that kind of information, that kind of understanding. But I mean, the one-offs are extraordinarily strange, because they literally just happen once and then that's it. And I think those leave a bigger question mark than the regular things, because at least when you can see, a chain of events, you can kind of grasp, what they're doing, what it's all about. Like, for instance, abductees usually experience abductions throughout the course of their lifetime, from a very young age until whenever. And so, yeah, they're obviously keeping an eye on these people for some reason. Maybe they're running some kind of tests on them. Maybe they're just watching the biological aging or mapping, what's going on there. Who knows? I mean, they seem to be studying those people anyway. So you can kind of understand a little bit about what's going on. But a case like this is just like, pow, there's this ball. It's stretched into a tube. It seemed to be watching us. It seemed to be aware of us watching it. And then it seemed to, be done and happy with itself, and it changed shape and shot out the door. Gone. Well, that's unusual. It's hard to know what to do with those. Glowing beach ball. Hey, glowing tube, what's up? Yeah. There you go. I don't know. Jaron, this is intriguing. I wonder if there have been any more experiences like this. What did Jaron say? Jaron, would you rather have a ghost that doesn't see you because it's like an energy reoccurrence, or would you rather have one look at you and talk to you directly? I'd rather, depends on what it had to say, I guess. To me, I don't know, probably the residual. Certainly with the residual, there's really nothing to fear, because it's just an imprint. But at the same time, if it's going to be there, if it was evil and talking to me, then I wouldn't like that too much. But if it was, like hey, I guess we're sharing this house. How you doing? Then it'd be kind of cool. So depends on the nature of the visit, I guess, if it was intelligent. If it's like, hey, I'm going to suck your soul out while you sleep. No, not so much. I'd rather have the residual. But it was like, hey, I'm just stuck here. I'm going to be in your pantry. Well, figured we better get to know each other. Well, sure. Let's talk. So it depends on what it has to say. That's my take on it. If you wanted my vote, that's what it is. Anyway, what if it said you're eating too much, or it said that your darkest secrets and then came out of you super quick, and it said all your darkest secrets and then came out you super quick. I guess I wouldn't want to know what it knows. Yeah, well, there's telepathic. I mean, I think these these spiritual things are I mean, we think our thoughts are in our head, right? We're conditioned to believe that whatever we think is in our own heads and it's private, but it's all energy. Thought is energy, and energy doesn't just stay within the confines of our head. It just radiates around us. So I think that's why I think telepathy is not only possible, but we're probably all have it to some degree. We just more maybe subconsciously than consciously. But maybe that's why we get those bad vibes from people. It's like, I don't know. I don't like that person. Why? I don't know. Everybody, I think, has met people they just didn't like. And it's hard to know why. I mean, how do you quantify that? You just meet somebody. It's like, nope, don't want to be around this person. Well, how do you know that? I don't know, but I know. And maybe that's a form of telepathy. But it manifests as more of a gut feeling or an empathy. You don't really know what it is, but you don't want to be around it. Well, fair enough. So, yeah, I think ghosts can probably tell what's going on in your head pretty easily if they're intelligent, because we're like actually beacons. We're like radio stations. They can just sit. And that's, there's another event that happens a lot in hauntings, and I think it's creepy as hell. I think this is probably one of the creepiest ways to realize that you have a haunting, is to be sound asleep and then wake up suddenly and there's a face in yours. But it's not a face. It's like a see-through kind of face. And it's like this close to your face. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's the oh hell no category for me. It's like, no, I'm not okay with this at all. But I think what might be going on, I've been trying to think, why do they sit there and just stare? Why do they do that? And I thought, well, maybe, this is just a maybe they can watch our dreams. Maybe they can watch as we dream. And so they get close to see what we're dreaming. Maybe they can move in and just see it like a movie. So maybe it's entertaining for them. I don't know, because I can't think. Why would someone just stay in your closet and then just come out and stare at you? Just like that. So I just happen to think that there must be some reason they do it. And it's because maybe they can see through our dreams what we're experiencing. And maybe for them, that's kind of like us going to the movies. I don't know. Just a thought. But it's creepy. It's got to be the most horrible way to wake up in the world. Did you hear the 6 episode of Jim Harold's Campfire? There was one like that. No, I didn't. I unfortunately, I've this is terrible to admit, but I really don't get a chance to listen to shows. Just my life is just always busy. And I love listening to shows, and I love listening to what other people are doing, because I learn from other people. And Jim Harold's one of those people everybody could learn from. He's been at it for a long time and does a hell of a job. But I just have never sat down and listened to his episodes. There's so many things I don't get a chance to listen to. I wish I did. I wish I could, but maybe it's I don't make time, but I just end up being too reactionary in my life. So, hey, Brent. Hey, everybody in chat. Hey, Audio. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in, brother. Hope things are good. The nameless thing of Berkeley Square, entity that haunted the second floor. The 50 Berkeley Square townhouse, London, supposedly comes out of the closet and gets people. Well, that sounds terrible. That's not good. Not good at all. Larry, who's Larry? Did I miss a Larry coming in? Who is Larry? Is there someone named Larry that came in? I don't see a Larry. Where's Larry? I must have missed it somehow. I don't know. I missed it. Larry Portal the cat? What? You're busy for sure. Hey, audio. I found. Oh, the cat you found. Yeah. How's the cat doing, by the way? Hope it's going good. I'm glad you guys are found each other and that's become your compatriot. A ghost. Hey, bro, I get you, person. Thanks. The white cat he found. Yeah. Okay. So it's named Larry? Aw, that's sweet. I gotcha. I thought it was another person coming into chat. I'm looking at all the names scrolling up. Like, I don't see any Larry. Sorry. Getting a little old. I don't know. It might be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I should probably quit saying that. I'm probably aging myself every time I say that. Like it's, yes, I'm affirming I'm aging. Well, I know I'm aging, but I'm really immature, so it's okay. I think I'm still okay. All right, we're going to run to a Bigfoot account from Phantoms and Monsters now. This one sounds pretty creepy. I don't know if you guys have heard this, and I don't know if there's any validity to this or not, but I've heard this said. Oh, he's really good. Good. I'm really glad to hear that, brother. He showed up when you needed him most, and he found you. So obviously you guys were meant to be together. I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, but in Bigfoot stories, in some lore that I've heard, and I can only call it lore because I don't really know how somebody would know this, and maybe it comes from First Nation wisdoms. If it does, then very cool. I don't ever ignore those because the First Nations communities have, huge histories of living in concert, or at least in regions with these, hairy people of the forests. But the claim is that if you see a Bigfoot at night and it has golden eyes, gold-colored eyes, yellow-colored eyes, whatever, it's a good thing. That's usually the real low-key, peaceful ones that are just, oh, you're there, going to continue on. However, I've heard that if you see the red-colored eyes one, that's a bad thing. You don't want to be around. You got to get the hell out of there. That's a really bad sign. I don't know if that's true or not. And I don't mean to be repeating bad information if that is indeed bad information. Again, I don't know the source of it for sure. I've come across it several times through stories through the years. But again, I don't know what the foundation of that is, if there's any accuracy to it. But I don't know. Just thought I'd share it with you. See if any of you guys know. Do you know of anything like that, or any history that maybe where that knowledge came from? Let me know. But here it is, a story from phantomsandmonsters.com from July 24th. It's pretty new. Let's check this one out. Possible red-eyed Bigfoot running alongside car near Palestine, Illinois. Yeah, I mean, look at that face. Oh, God, tell me you wouldn't just poop a brick when you saw that. Oh. A couple's driving home from Robinson, Illinois, while driving by Fuller Cemetery. The wife in the passenger seat became hysterical, stating she saw an upright, dark-haired, red-eyed creature. I wonder if it couldn't have been a dogman, though, especially with the cemetery connection. That seems to be a lot of times people encounter dogmen in or near or around cemeteries. Bigfoot as well, but I often wonder in those sightings if it's just mistaken identity and they're all dogmen. But anyway, long-time reader, first-time writer. I want to first say how much I appreciate everything you do and have done with the site. It's a great blog, and I check it every day, usually more than 3 times a day. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and Lon's always posting stuff, so you could literally revisit this site several times every day and find more material to look at. Even if you read the whole site, just come back in the afternoon and there'll be like 5 more articles. So Lon's really busy. A few years ago, my now ex-wife and I were coming home from a trip to Vincennes, Indiana. I'm probably could be Vincennes. I don't know how to pronounce that. It was around 10 p.m. and in the late spring, and we were traveling north on ILRR 33 towards Palestine. And we lived in Robinson, Illinois, and somewhere just south of the Fuller Cemetery, I spotted a wild turkey or some other large bird on the right-hand side of the road. Well, as we passed it, she started to scream. She worked herself up to near tears, and I was laughing. I'm so mean. But I could tell she was honestly distraught. And you laughed? Man, you're a keeper. As I pulled over into the cemetery drive, I told her to calm down. It was just a turkey that we saw. And I asked her why she got so scared, and she said, I didn't see a turkey. And I asked her what she saw, and her response gave me the goosebumps. The hair on the back of my neck is standing up now, years later retelling the story. What do you mean, what did I see? You didn't see that? Well, I had no idea what she was talking about, but she told me, just as we came around a small curve where I had seen the turkey that she didn't see, that she saw a large animal running alongside of our car. All I could see was dark fur and red eyes. It was running upright alongside the car. Its head was at the top of the window. It was humongous. Well, I started to go through animals that were big and near that height. And the only halfway logical one I could think of was a bear. So when I got home, I photoshopped a picture of the bear, illuminated as she would have seen it, and reddened the eyes just a bit, and she was frantic again. Well, that's what I saw. That's what I saw. Well, Crawford County is not known for its bear population. In fact, other than this story, I've never heard from anyone else who has encountered one. They just aren't here. She would probably swear today that that was what she saw. And I now believe that she saw a Bigfoot. That was by Jason. Wow. Again, if it looked more like a bear, it could, I mean, a dogman's a pretty close approximation with the ears on top of the head, you know, and maybe, I don't know. But I don't know what a quadrupedal Bigfoot would look like, if that would be very bear-like, if it was running on all fours. But I think when they run on all fours, they look more chimpanzee-ish and not so much, you know, the true quadrupedal things like bear and wolves and things like that. But I think dogmen can do both. Many witnesses have seen them go from the quadrupedal stance to a bipedal stance, and as they straighten up, they hear a popping as their hip joint realigns for the bipedal standing. So it's like their hips have a socket that they can dislodge and realign depending on which mode of travel they're going to do. And so I don't know, but I don't know. That's pretty crazy. Whatever the case, I feel bad for that lady. I mean, she's got to live with seeing that. Why did he not see that but saw a turkey? I don't understand. And it makes it sound like it's maybe something more spiritual, but I don't know. If they both saw two very different things in the same region, what does that mean? You know, that's an oddity for sure. Skinwalker versus dogman. Yeah, good point. I guess Skinwalker is a possibility, but I don't know. Generally speaking, aren't they usually about the size of a wolf? And she said the head was right at the top of the car window. I imagine it's a car that they were driving, not a truck, but it doesn't really say, I guess. If it was like a pickup truck and it was still as tall as the window, then that's a pretty big, bear. If it's running along and its head is still that high, that's like huge. But anyway, I don't know. Curious report, whatever it is. Scary stuff. All right, we're going to go to the next one. This one's coming from New Zealand. And this has to do with black-eyed female humanoids that apparently appeared in a psychologist's office. Now, is this cryptids? Not really. The thick thighs make sense that way. Yeah, they kind of do. The popping is Chex Mix in the dogman's back pocket. That explains everything, Rachel. It's a good thing you're here. Making sense of all this curious stuff that we cover. Googway. Yeah, Googway. Grandizer, you say Googway every time you're here. I think if there are Googway, they would scare everybody for sure. They are kind of the king of horrible, if that's the case, if they're really out there. All right, here we go. New Zealand's patient encounters black-eyed female humanoids in psychologist's office. Yikes. That's not where you want to see him. Although maybe it makes some sense. I'm not a psychologist, and I've known a few. I've worked with a few, and I saw one at one point when I was going through my first divorce. I went and decided to get some counseling just to see if that would help deal with the heartbreak of it all. But I only made it like 3 sessions. And I thought, well, no, I'm going to do this alone. But I think they're, wonderful people trying to help and help people reassemble their lives. And there's definitely benefit to it. But I just didn't find it was so much for me. But, Godspeed to anybody that can get help through and wherever. But not from black-eyed females. Not sure what that's all about, but that's terrifying. Let's see what's going on. A bizarre series of events, including encounters with various humanoids, a shape-shifting doctor, unexplained visions, and a lost time experienced by a New Zealander. I saw black-eyed females before, but now it's talking about various humanoids? What the hell's going on? Maybe this guy needed a lot of help. Might need some meds. I'm just saying. If you stack the deck too much, it doesn't sound like it's maybe genuine phenomena anymore. Like you might be just slipping into another zone of real at that point. But that's just me being judgmental and probably mean. I don't mean to be, but let's see what it says. I received the following account. Sir, I've read many of your readers' experiences. Because of your presentation, I've decided to come forward with a personal event that happened to me in 1987 while I was living in New Zealand. You have my permission to post this for your readers. One January morning, I set off on what should have been no more than a 3-hour drive to Auckland, New Zealand. I arrived at my destination feeling extremely tired and confused. When I went to the hotel front desk to check in, I was told that I had no room reservation. And then after the desk clerk checked the records, I was stunned to learn that I had lost 5 days and have no idea where I'd been. Well, luckily there was a vacancy, so I checked in and went right to the room. Well, after a quick shower and a bite to eat, I decided to grab a nap. I laid there wondering what had happened to me, and that I may as well drive back home because I missed all the appointments I had scheduled. Well, eventually I drifted off to sleep, but would wake up every hour or so feeling nervous and helpless. Well, the next day I drove back home. Well, after a few days, though, I continued to experience extreme anxiety. I called my general practitioner and was able to see him the next day. Well, I didn't tell the doctor about my experience, but did explain my nervousness and lack of sleep. Sensing this was more than a physical ailment, he suggested that I see an anxiety therapist. Well, after several sessions with the therapist, who I confided in her about the lost time, I was recommended to a psychologist who had dealt with the phenomena before. A week later, I went to see the psychologist, and as soon as I saw him, I had an instinctive feeling that this was going to be an unusual session. He was fairly young, with short blonde hair. His mannerisms were unlike those of any person I have ever met, though. I just couldn't put a finger on why I felt this way. I sat down in a large leathery chair directly facing the doctor. He stared at me for almost a minute and then smiled and asked me to tell him what I remembered. Well, all of a sudden, a large flash seemed to hit me in the face, and I was able to remember being escorted on board a huge craft by a tall and thin female dressed in a dark gray leotard. Her body features were human-like, similar figure with hips and breasts, but a slightly larger head. Her nose, mouth, ears, and hair looked human-like, but her eyes were large and round, with onyx black pupils. I suppose she could be termed as a humanoid, and she directed me to a room where I was told, in English, to wait. Soon I was approached by 3 other humanoids. One tall, looking like the previous female humanoid. The second, a bit shorter and male. And the third was a very short, stout male who walked ahead of the other two. All three had similar facial features except the short, stout humanoid. He had a small mouth and nose. I was struck with an almost overpowering feeling of his presence, as if he possessed an energy that was being projected and then reabsorbed by his body. The short humanoid said, "Welcome," and told me that he was designated guardian of this section. The humanoids seemed to communicate to each other by using telepathy in various hand motions. I was shown another world and arrived at a huge metropolis, which was very neat and orderly. And I noticed the craft landed and that the city lacked any tall buildings, and most of the buildings were pyramid-shaped dwellings made of what appeared to be a transparent but tinted material. I was taken to a residential area with children who were playing just like human children. The buildings here were cylinder-shaped and opaque. The color inside the buildings was mostly a bright white and a touch of silver, gray, and red inside. A soft light seemed to radiate from everything, and all the residents seemed so peaceful. That sounds like a great place. After what seemed like a few minutes, I remember sitting in my car parked in front of the hotel in Auckland, and I heard the words, "Is that everything?" I opened my eyes and looked directly at the doctor, but this time he had transformed into the small, stout humanoid wearing a business suit. He simply said, "Hello, did you enjoy your journey?" I attempted to reply, but I couldn't speak. Then he told me to wait here and walk through a side door into the office. Several minutes later, the secretary walked in, shocked when she saw me, and inquired as to who I was and why I was in the doctor's office. I told her that the doctor had just left, and she gave me the oddest look, and then told me that the doctor was out all day on an emergency. She then asked if I would care to reschedule an appointment. Still taken aback, I replied that I would call back later. I never have figured out how I got into the psychologist's office and why the small, stout humanoid confronted me there. Since that time, I've never had another experience. I wonder if others have had a similar encounter. Wow. That's bizarre, right? Huh. Oof. That's pretty crazy, right? What do you think of that, guys? That's a pretty solid story, though, isn't it? So it doesn't sound so bizarre as the first part made it sound like. It's like, oh, you went to psychologist's office and you saw the strangeness. Oh, that's a little weird. But when it's like everything was unlocked and he just remembered, maybe the suppressed memories were unlocked by that stout guy, whatever the hell he was. That's pretty fascinating. I mean, if you got taken to a place like that and you saw that, wouldn't you be like, yeah, just grab my stuff and just bring it here. I'm going to stay. Would you? I mean, I love being here and I love being in this world, and I really have a lot of hope for the world. But you got to admit, it'd be nice to go somewhere where they already had a lot of this stuff sorted out and you could just enjoy living. That would be pretty cool. God, I don't think I'd want to come back. It's just like, no, I'll stay here. This is good. Just bring the kids and the missus and we'll make it work. Is that an episode? That was in an episode of Tales of the Unexpected, was it? I don't know. I'm not sure what Tales of the Unexpected was. And it's possible. Is that another podcast? It could be, and they might have used Lon's story too. I don't know. 2 poutine orders go around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. You made me go Eminem there. Now I got that going through my head. Work, work, work. You remember that show, not that episode? Oh, okay. I don't know. I think it's an amazing story, actually, now that I've read it and can understand the actual experience of what this person experienced. And it sounds like a hell of a thing. But wouldn't you be like, well, when are they coming back? Was that it? Was that everything? And then you'd kind of feel used, wouldn't you? But you got to see something that's pretty amazing. I don't know how I'd feel about that. Be like, really? I thought we had something going here. What's going on? It's like a breakup, you know? Are we in a relationship? Aren't we committed now? You brought me over to see your folks. I mean, doesn't that count for anything? I don't know. What do you do? It's an interesting story, though. I do, in an instance like that, I mean, that seems like a very positive experience. I don't think, the interesting thing was he said the pupils were onyx black, but it didn't say they had all black eyes. Like the whole no iris at all. It's just all one, ball of black. Maybe that's what he meant, but that's not what he described. He just described that maybe there wasn't, all the color of eyes. Maybe it was just all black or very dark, in that it looked black. But maybe there was still iris and stuff cooking there too. I don't know. Very interesting. Off-world Club Med. Yeah, it kind of sounds like that, doesn't it, Barbara? Bears are way obvious. No shoulders and ears on top of their head. Most common mistake up here in the Pacific Northwest is a moose walking away back humping all. Oh, cool. Tales from the Unexpected was a single-story series with a surprise twist. Like the Twilight Zone, but more like O. Henry stories. Not sure what O. Henry stories are, but okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a show that I'm familiar with, but it sounds interesting. Anyway, that's a cool story. I got to look at the time here, see how we're doing. We got about 20 minutes left. Ooh, the time just flies because we're going to the claw now, ladies and gentlemen. One more from Lon's wonderful phantomsandmonsters.com. The Claw, my experience with true evil in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. It says sketch. Is there a sketch? Oh, there's the sketch. Oh, God, that looks like a velociraptor hand. That's a good sketch, though. Yikes. What would you do if you saw that digging into your tent? Oh, God, that's horrifying. Let's see what this is. It looks like a pizza. It says pizza. Guess it wants pizza. Does that look like pizza to you? Is that what you're saying, Spirit? I mean, I guess you kind of blur your eyes a little bit. It could look like a slice of pizza. It's not, though. It's clawed fingers. Interesting. The Claw. Baron von Raschke. Is that what you're saying, Grandizer? I used to remember the Baron. He used to talk about how he could squish coconuts with his hand. And he'd put his claw on people's heads. Baron von Raschke. Yep. That's not the Baron? Okay. Well, it didn't look like his hand. I was contacted by an experiencer who I'd talked to in the past. He related an incident with an entity while living with his father in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. When we spoke last, I told you that other events happened in my life that I would eventually find time to send you. This fella beat me to the punch on one of them, so strangely enough, this event is almost exactly what happened to me a few years ago while in college myself. However, there are a few differences in experience I'd like to share with you now. All right, here it is. Back in about 2008, I'd split up with my girlfriend and moved in with my dad while going to college in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Well, he lived in Bethel Park, a very populated and relatively nice community. He'd given me a spare bedroom on the second floor, which had 3 windows in it. It wasn't very big, but it held my life's essentials while attending college. One night around spring/summer in 2008, I was laying in bed, lying on my right side, thinking about life and just reflecting on stuff, when I started to feel a strange tingle throughout my body. I didn't quite notice a droning sound, as John T. described, being that I lived in an area where dump trucks, 18-wheelers, and many other large motor vehicles were only a few paces from my window on the ground below, passing by day and night. I hadn't begun to drift to sleep at this point, and I took a quick and sharp notice of this feeling that I was getting. It made me feel light, as if my body's density was lessening, and I was not as armored without that density, if you will. I didn't fight it because I've always been intrigued by the supernatural and paranormal, and probably even to a dangerous level of curiosity at times. Instead, I focused on it and tried to encourage it to see what was to come next. What happened next, I did not like. Suddenly, I felt something dark, something negative. The best way I can describe it is like this. A giant invisible fingered claw began to scrape my soul from my body, slowly extracting it one gradual pace at a time. I think it means piece at a time. It started at my feet and was scraping its way up my legs and to my torso. When it hit my upper chest, it scraped outward from my body. Think of a garden claw scraping a hole in a fresh topsoil. Very similar to what I was feeling, and every time it made a pass up my body, I felt less and less in control of my body. I still had control of my mind, but fear began to consume it. My body felt as if it were paralyzed and numbed to much feeling, as a parasite would do when attaching its host. Now imagine with me, if you can, that since this claw had no physical form, it still had an energy, a dark and negative energy. It instilled terror into my heart, and I, quote, saw, unquote, it in my mind, what it looked like, its color, texture, giant nails on each finger, every bumpy knuckle. But when I saw it in my mind, it wasn't like some vision you would imagine a prophet being given or by a higher power, like in movies or something. Instead, it was like a thought that you would have about what your truck looks like, or your house, or your dog. It's a detailed image, but just an image in your mind when you're thinking about something. Okay, so now I'm laying on my right side and I feel this tingle. I kind of like it, so I welcome it all. And all of a sudden, I feel the claw scraping through me and pulling my energy, my soul, out of my body. The only thing I could do was pray, which I did. And it was the Lord's Prayer, just as John T. did. As I prayed, the scraping continued, but got very weak, until finally it was gone. I felt my blood rush back into my body, and I lifted my head from my pillow and looked around, not sure what the hell just happened to me. In all 3 windows, I never noticed anything that seemed like it could be related to extraterrestrials. I didn't lose time. I was conscious the whole time. No strange lights or voices, etc. Instead, this was something completely spiritual, but it was evil. I'm no saint, and I don't even know how to be. But I do know evil, and so does every single person in this world when their soul encounters it. I've always been a firm believer in a spirit and a soul and God. Whether it is simply the power of believing in something that gives you control over the power within, or whether it is actually believing in God directly, you must still believe in good and evil. If there's one thing I know about existence, it's that it is all a balance in every little tiny or hugely massive thing, from day-to-day life to quantum physics. The rule is that there's a balance, black and white, good and evil. I can't explain more than that of the event, other than I know it was evil. And with faith and the power of prayer, I was released from its grasp. I drew a picture of what I saw in my mind since it happened. The image in my head has not lost an ounce of detail. Maybe I saw it because I'm visually inclined, but this is what I believe was scraping through me. Could it be seen through our perspective? And there it is again. Yeah, that's terrifying. I will say, though, that, if this is indeed like a demonic attempt at like possession or at least attachment, then there again, I've often said, you hear of people getting scratched. It's 3 scratches. It's a mocking of the Trinity. Well, and I've always said, what if they only have 3 fingers? We don't know what they look like. Well, if you look on this depiction of what this guy saw, there's 3 fingers. So if it made a physical scratch on you, it's going to be three scratches, because that's the amount of hardware it's dealing with. So again, you be the judge, but I always found that determination was based on what exactly? That it is a 3. Well, if I only had 4 fingers, I could only put 4 scratches on you. If I had 2 fingers, I could only scratch you 2 times. I might try to put 4 on you, like scratch you more than once, but it's still a broad assumption to say, well, that's a mocking of the Trinity because it's only 3. Well, if that's the hardware you got to work with, that's all the scratches you can leave. So I don't know what you guys think of that, but I always have trouble with people drawing such firm conclusions on things, because we don't know. We don't know anything. Very, very little. But again, that's the value of encounters, is that we can get a picture to at least shape an idea. And is this for sure what it looked like? Well, it's what his mind picked up. He was the one experiencing it. I gotta believe if his story is true, and I have no reason to necessarily objectively doubt it, because I don't know the person, I haven't talked to him. But if what he's saying is true, and this is what he saw in his mind's eye when he's trying to understand what the hell this was doing, and why did it feel that way, this is what he felt, and this is what he saw. So it seems to be like a psychic impression. So you come to your own conclusions, I guess. But that's my conclusion. It's that, well, that makes sense when people get 3 scratches, because there's 3 fingers. That's as many as they can make in one swipe. So anyway, I made an ink drawing of Chamberlain a few years ago. I don't know what Chamberlain is, but okay, cool. I don't think you're talking to me necessarily, though. So, why are you guys talking about Putin all day? Putin. What is it with Putin going on? I'm here slaving away doing stories and stuff, and you guys are talking about Putin. What the hell am I doing with my life? The claw going through the guy's leg itched, so it scratched him. The guy got all scared. I don't know. He didn't talk about having any wounds necessarily, but it's interesting. Anyway, I think that stuff is interesting, fascinating stuff. But you be the judge. You be the judge, folks. I'm just here talking to you all night. Sharing stories, sharing the insights of my soul. And by God, I learned to scratch my own back. Thank you very much, Face Blue Smiling. Amen, Sherry. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Thank you so much. And gravy. Again with the food. This is like a Food Network chat sometimes, you guys. You guys drive me nuts. Why? I should just get on here and read recipes, for God's sakes. It'd be a lot easier to research if I'm just reading recipes. All right, guys, we're going to get into the fondues now. Are you ready? Dark crystal with curds, Brent. Yeah. I got some curds forming in my heart right now. All right. Well, I think we're running out of time. But again, I just want you guys to remember, there won't be any more live streams. In fact, there's probably not going to be a new podcast on Monday. I may do one later in the week just to catch up. But I was actually under the weather for the last few days. So I didn't get a chance to put one together before I left. And just so you know, so if you're a podcast listener, please be patient with me. I will bring you a podcast as soon as I can. It may be that I'll just take this next week off and do one after that. I'm hoping to get some good interviews while I'm there from people that may have some experiences and formulate those into a podcast episode to share with all of you guys. But we'll see what's going on there. Paranormal Portal recipe book. Well, I just interviewed Amy Bruni, and she's got Food to Die For is her new book. And if you haven't heard that interview, check it out. Amy Bruni, of course, from Kindred Spirits. And before that, she was part of the Ghost Hunters team. So a wonderful person. I really had a lot of fun talking to Amy. She's very nice. Yeah, I hope to have a good time too, Chucky. It's going to be a good event. Again, if any of you are in the neighborhood, please stop by. Become a part of it if you would. There's a new there's a new COVID virus. Yeah, right. Did it get you? No, it wasn't anything to do with COVID. It was just, I don't know, just something digestive was raising hell with me for a couple days. So not that you don't need the graphics, but it really wasn't that graphic. It was just, I was miserable for several days. So, but I don't know if it was, something food poisoning, if something medicine wise that, I'm on some meds and stuff. So perhaps it was a reaction, but anyway, I got better today. I feel much better, but I did lose time in prepping before this conference. So I didn't get a chance to put together a new podcast episode yet, but I'm hoping to have one maybe when I get home, if it's not too, if I get some good stories, it'll be, maybe quick enough I can put one together for maybe Monday night, Tuesday release. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So, but it should be a great event. Again, if any of you are in Pocatello, Idaho this weekend, stop by. It's the Bigfoot Rendezvous, and go to the first part of the show where I put the flyer up. Otherwise, after that, again, the next conference that I know I'm going to for sure is going to be in Vernal, Utah in September 4th through the 7th. So if you can be at Phenomicon, you should go. That's a great event, 4-day event, just chock full of stuff. Chucky, you should come down for that. That would be exceptional. And could all just hang out, I'm just saying. But any of you go to that, let me know. I will have a table at this weekend's event. I will have a table at Phenomicon. So it'd be great to see you guys stop in, say hello, and hang out. That'd be good. And of course, there's so many good speakers. You definitely want to go to Phenomicon and to the event this weekend as well. Those are some great presentations going to be happening. So great show as always, Karen says. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. But this will wrap up our week's worth of broadcast all in one night. I apologize. I will probably be doing an impromptu live stream or two while I am there. So make sure that you've rung the bell. I don't know when. It could be any time on the 26th or 27th, depending on what's going on. But I will show you guys the events, kind of doing a live stream like I did over at Kalispell, where I introduced Barbara to you guys. Barbara sat down and talked with me a bit and just toured around and showed you guys the events. So if you can make it to those events, I would really recommend it, especially if you're into the topics. There's a great opportunity to meet people, to talk to people, to hear stories, and to have some great discussions. I love doing the conferences. They are exhausting, but I do love doing them. So I hope at some of these you guys can show up. So the invite is there. Pocatello, Idaho, 26th, 27th. This weekend, be there or don't. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Hope you guys had a great time. Thank you, Grandizer. Says have a safe trip. It's about an 8-hour drive. It's going to be a long haul. And I'm going to be jamming some tunes and staying in my lane. It's not a drive I've ever done before, so it'll be an interesting haul. But thank God for GPS and maps. They can get me there. So at any rate, don't forget to brush your teeth. What? I don't forget to brush my teeth. I brush my teeth regularly. I even floss quite a bit. You buying lunch? Are you coming, Barbara? If you come, I'll buy you lunch. How's that? I don't know. It's an invite is there. So if you come this weekend, I'll buy you lunch, Barbara. There's a deal. I can't buy everybody lunch. So if a bunch of you show up, it's going to have to be Dutch. Brent, I went to one, had pics of UFOs, but they were blurred, got mocked, and said I have close encounters of the blurred kind. Well, there's always dicks, Grandizer. You can't base, whether an event was real or not. You were the only one there. But it is, here's the thing. If you're ever presenting evidence of something if you're ever presenting evidence of something publicly, you honestly have to be ready to take some on the chin, because there's always dicks out there that are going to say that you're full of crap, and they're going to attack you for it. But there's also plenty of people that are going to be really into what you're sharing and want to hear your experience. So the question is if you're doing it for recognition, it's probably not the right reason to do it anyway. If you're doing it to share knowledge, then let the idiots say what they will. But if you know the event was real and you saw a real phenomena happening, even if your evidence is maybe more ambiguous, it means a lot when you stand behind what you present. You can't make people believe it, and that's the tragic part. And there's, just don't do it. Don't present evidence to try to convince anyone of anything. They're going to come to their own conclusions anyway. People defend their paradigms fiercely, but yeah, don't let them deter you either, because, if you love it and, you like getting out there and looking and finding evidence, then keep doing it. And maybe the next photos you capture are going to be absolutely crystal clear. Then they'll probably say it's CGI. It doesn't really matter what you bring to the table. The people that are going to attack you for it are going to keep attacking you. It's just the nature of human nature. But the ones that are on board and can take the time and listen to you and give you a fair shake, they're going to be impressed. So do it because you love it. Yeah, I understand. That stuff doesn't feel good, but just remember, I mean, you could bring in the grail of Christ, and you could know that it's real and bring it in and you'd be attacked for it. I mean, it just wouldn't matter. The people that aren't going to believe you are never going to believe you anyway. And it doesn't matter what you bring in. They're just going to call you a fake and whatever. But pay attention to the people that do want to hear what you got to say, because those are the ones that are, that you can have a good dialogue with and share some great experiences. But I open my mouth and a local plover bird takes care of my teeth. Jesus, Rachel. Rachel, you are such a unique soul. I don't even know how you think of things like this. Rachel goes and lays next to the gators on the shore and keeps her jaw agape, and the birds will come in and pick the stuff out. That's funny. You crack me up, girl. All right. Well, that's the show. That's all I know. And I hope you guys had a good time. Everything is COVID anymore. Vitamin C, D, eat healthy. Amen, brother. Oh, Brent, speaking of, Jeff Woolwine dropped a video. Well, I'm sure he did. There's a guy I wish you could interview. He's the PHX Lights guy who covered that very detailed. I'm sure it's wonderful. Grandizer, if you ever have a link, just send it to me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. If you come across links of things you think I'd be interested in, send me a link. Because I promise you, as interested as I am in that stuff, I won't remember and I'm going to forget. But if you send me an email with a link, and again, it's paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, I'm much more likely to check it out and look at it, and I'll respond to you. So, but yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. But that's all we got for today. Again, I keep saying that, but I really do mean it, because I got to go pack. So thank you, Vincent. I appreciate that. But anyway, Fear of Farscape, they had a creature that cleans your teeth. Yeah, I'm sure. All right, I'm done. I'm done, guys. I'm done. So remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. And I will be back a week from today, I guess, for the next live show. But stay tuned to the social media. I'll try to post updates and maybe photos of my journey as I go. Follow me on Facebook, Brent Thomas page. You can follow on Paranormal Portal Fans Facebook page or Paranormal Portal Radio on Facebook. I'll try to post to Instagram too, and maybe a TikTok if I find the time. I don't know. I'm not good at social media, but I usually post on the Facebook most often. So if you're looking for updates, check there first. And anyway, that's all I got time for. You guys take care and be good. And if you need a portal fix in the time between shows, check out the archives. There's just tons of videos here. And so you can watch shows that I'm pretty sure there's a handful of people I think that have watched every show. I get emails from them sometimes like, I watched every episode. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. So that's a committed fan for sure. But if you need a fix between now and next time, go check out the archives. And I'll try to keep you guys posted, but I do love you guys. Thank you so much for being here, being part of the show, being part of the journey. And I'll talk to you as soon as I can. But until then, good night, everybody. Roll the credits.